What's happening, people? Welcome me off the Underside, another episode, and welcome to our League Cup final special. Didn't quite get those words out there, but it's a League Cup final special, 3:30 on Sunday. Myself and Corey, two big Celtic fans, as you all know, and we're joined by Robbie and Ryan, who I'm sure you've seen on the podcast before, also big St Mirren fans. So it's an exciting episode coming up. Guys, how are you getting on?
Doing well. Excited for the game. Probably a bit nervous now, to be fair. Now it's getting closer, but looking forward to it.
I'm absolutely buzzing for. I'm up for the cup with this one. Recent developments in the recent week have given me a lot more confidence going into the game. It's nice of Jack Frost to make some time during the Christmas period to come on and greet us.
Hello.
It's great to see.
Hello.
Did you answer that, Corey? You don't bite into that at all, no?
No. I'll accept it. I'll accept it now. Just wait till Sunday when it's great about 4:30.
Right, Robbie boy, we'll start with you, mate. Since you're wearing that beautiful St Mirren shirt today. On a scale of 1 to 10, mate, how excited are you?
20 out of 10, to be fair. Probably higher than that, but no, it's not every day you get to experience a final as a St Mirren fan. You boys know the Celtic fans. You've been to quite a lot of them. For me and Ryan, this is pretty new territory, especially for me. I never experienced 2013, I was too young. Obviously got to experience a championship in 2017, but obviously it's different, a championship win to a cup final at Hampden. So the excitement levels are through the roof right now.
That made me sad that he said he was too young in 2013. That was very sad. I don't like hearing that.
I would have been.
That's sickening, man.
I think I was
said that one. You said that one before, and that's made me feel very, very old as well, man.
Sickening, man.
Ryan, how about you, mate? How are you feeling?
Mate, I don't think there's a better chance. I don't think there's going to be a better chance in the next 5 to 10 years for somebody to come and win a cup outside the Old Firm. The amount of problems at Celtic right now, you've obviously got the Green Brigade banned, apparently threatening the security officer. We take everything the Celtic board say with a pinch of salt. You've got a divide between the fans, the board. There's a lot of key players out for Celtic. There's a new manager who's really not hit the ground running. I've actually got a wee prop for his. He's got his wee tactics board here. He's got his wee, 4-2-3. What we're gonna do with it. So I think there's a lot of things in St Mirren's favour this weekend. I honestly think there's not a better time for us to come and upset the apple cart.
I hope he pumped you, man.
No, but I actually agree, mate. Listen, I did want to talk about St Mirren first and their chances and stuff, but we have to touch on for a few minutes on last night's performance with Celtic. I mean, we have to start there because I feel that is going to be a big thing going into Sunday. Corey, you were at the game last night, mate. How fucking bad was that?
It was really bad, but I don't know. More that I think about it, I think that Rome is a really good team. I know we should have put more of a performance in, but I don't know. All right, tunes up, Boston, love it. It was just all round. It was shite, but I don't know what some Celtic fans. I know there's a lot of people looking for his head already. And it's 2 games. He's had about 6 training sessions, maybe all in. And then after, I was talking to you about it the other day. It's like there's just a calamity at everything. It's for the start of the season to the now. It's just been a combination of a lot of things. So I don't really think that Nancy's really to blame for the state that we're in. But we're in a terrible, terrible state there.
Aye, mate. I mean, obviously, I was talking to you about it today, but I was just saying to Robbie and Ryan before we started, it was like terrible last night. I don't have a video about it. Loads of people commenting, loads of people saying I'm right, loads of people saying I'm talking shite. But like there was not one pass mark last night, and that to me, I cannot remember a game where I came out of it and I thought not one player played well there, not one player even done anything right. Every single player to a man was absolutely shocking. And I know you're saying you can't blame the manager, but you can't no blame the manager either. He has to take some responsibility. He put the team on the park. He's been training in the last few days. he's set up the team. You know what I mean? And I'm no calling for his head. I don't think he should be sacked at this point in time. I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very alarmed at how that went last night. I'm very, very alarmed at how this is going to go on Sunday, to be honest, because we're playing a very decent team. Okay, they've no won many trophies over the years and stuff, but like I've spoke to these two boys about, Stephen Robinson, cracking manager. You've got some good, really, really good players on form. They're going to be a tough team to play against. They're going to be physical. And by the way, I was thinking about this earlier. See, a physical team right now is the last thing we fucking need, because look at 2 goals in 2 games came for corners. You know what I mean? Easy headers. That fucking St Mirren get a corner on Sunday, man. My arse will be making buttons because it's going to be a very, very tough test. Especially, we all know he's not going to change his tactics. It's going to be a back 3. It's going to be Austin Trusty, Scales, and Tierney. And Scales and Trusty are weak as piss. And like I say, the 2 big boys at St Mirren are going to absolutely have a field day, I think. So I'm very, very worried getting into Sunday, Corey. I'm not going to lie, mate.
There's a slight worry because obviously the way Celtic are just now, but I don't know. I've always got that bit of confidence. But like you said, they've not really had a lot of cup final experience. Loads of that team do. That may play in their favour because Hampton's a big, massive pitch. St Mirren might not be able to get used to it.
They said that about Motherwell, though, Corey. They said that about Motherwell. Motherwell, big pitch. St Mirren won't cope with Motherwell on a big pitch.
No, I've just thought both teams. I thought both teams would struggle. Obviously, it never came out that way. You just won very, very comfortably. But I think the experience of the cup finals might play in their favour. I think that's the only, for now anyway, that's our only saving grace.
Robbie, can you tell us what players that we should look at for on Sunday for St Mirren point of view? Who have you got some faith in for Sunday?
Aye, I think Killian Phillips is probably my biggest name to stand out. He's a guy that shows absolutely no fear no matter who we play. Marcus Fraser is another guy I'd pick out. He's won the cup with Ross County. He captained Ross County in the final. Kevin Clancy was the referee that day as well in the League Cup final. He's the referee again this Sunday, which is obviously another thing that just seems to fall into place. I think I'd probably say they two as my picks, but look, you could honestly go out the whole team and see a reason as to why they're so crucial. Ryan's got the man tattooed on the back of his leg. Goggett, how crucial is he going to be on Sunday? I think a lot of my worries come from what team we see Celtic put out, and not particularly what we put out, because I can sort of guess who'll start 11. I think the big thing for me is where Daiza Maeda plays. If it plays Daiza Maeda through the middle, I'm a lot more confident that we can keep him quiet. If it plays him on the left, I'm a bit less confident that we'll keep him quiet. So a lot for me comes down to seeing the Celtic team sheet as well. And it is so interesting you were talking about the back 3 for Celtic, because that, for me, playing a back 3 with 3 left-footed centre-backs is absolutely strangling Celtic. I've been able to really adapt that back 3. For me, it's not something you can do. You just simply can't play a back 3 with 3 left-footers. It doesn't work. I think we've struck the balance quite well with our 3 centre-backs, and I think Celtic need to maybe take that same approach as well.
I agree, and it's funny you mentioned the team in that, because last night when I was live on TikTok or watching the game and stuff, and I was thinking to myself, do you know what? See, on Sunday, there is only 3 players, in my opinion, that are going to be guaranteed to start. I mean, you mentioned Maeda there. Maeda might not start. Maeda got hooked at half-time last night. So Nonsi's still trying to make up his mind who this team is. I mean, the 3 players I think are absolute certainty to starts are Schmeichel, Scales, and McGregor. See, outside of that, it could be Bernardo, Engels, Nygren, Hatate, Yang. You know, there's loads of picks there, but I don't know who he's going to go with. Like I say, he hooked Nygren, Tierney, and Maeda last night at half-time. I think that he's maybe no fancy name. I don't know what's happening. Connecty's been awful the last few games. He might not play. You know, so I don't know if you agree with that, Corey. Is there any other players that you think are absolutely guaranteed to start on Sunday?
I'm going to disagree with you, and I think it's going to be the same team as last night. Just for the sheer fact. I don't personally think that's right, because I think you should drop Maeda, Nygren, and I would probably say Tierney. The 3 that got subbed, I would say I would drop them. Because Maeda's not hit any sort of form. I would play in that. Joey looked a lot better than Maeda did last night. Tierney, I don't know if he's suited in that back three. I think he might be alright as maybe the wing back, but I don't think he's got the fitness for it anymore. And Negrin last night, nah, that was fucking minging. That was
I
honestly
don't understand why so many people are picking on Negrin when there's a far worse midfielder in the middle of that park every single fucking game, and that's Rio Hatate. He was away with absolute murder for months and months and months and months, and he was just frustrating. I was screaming at the telly last night, absolutely screaming at the telly at that guy. He cannot control a ball, he can't pass a ball. Anyway, let's not even dwell on him. I'm not even want to talk about him anymore, actually. That's how much he annoys me. But Ryan, where do you think the game will be won, mate?
As you said, mate, I think a big concern for Celtic this Sunday is set pieces. It's 2 games now in a row with the new manager in charge, and it's almost an identical goal. 2 goals from corners. I think, against a big physical team, I quite fancy a man who's tattooed on the back of my leg to get on the end of a corner and send that ball flying into the top corner. I think, again, Celtic are there to be got at. We can speak about how, St Mirren's players and all of that. But honestly, the strengths of the St Mirren players are good and they'll do the job. And we've got some brilliant players who can do some brilliant things. But for me, if I'm in that St Mirren dressing room right now, I'm looking at Celtic's last 2 performances and thinking, you know what, we can have a go here. Because, to be perfectly honest, excuse my language, they look weak as piss from set pieces. Set pieces of Kasper Schmeichel. He looks like a donut. He commands his box like a donut, as we saw at Hampden a couple of weeks ago. He doesn't move. He doesn't even move towards the ball. We saw that with Hearts' first goal last weekend. He doesn't even move to try and save it. I honestly think if I'm in that dressing room, I'm telling your midfielders, I'm telling your strikers, I'm even telling your centre-backs, take shots at him. Because I think Schmeichel potentially is one of the weakest points of that Celtic team right now, because he's lost it. He's had an unbelievable career. He's won the Premier League title with Leicester. He went out to Belgium for a while. But for me, Kasper Schmeichel is done as a footballer. It doesn't look like he cares. It doesn't even attempt to save it. If you look at the majority of goals Celtic have conceded this season, he's not even dived for half of them. So I'm looking at set pieces and I'm thinking, send Gogic up, because I'll tell you what, boys, if Gogic scores a header, unfortunately I'm not at the game this Sunday for health reasons, but I tell you what, if Gogic scores a header, you will find me in a field somewhere Monday morning.
I think St Mirren's biggest strength is your unity, because Celtic is in such turmoil now. It's like the fans are on side with the manager. All the players know how the manager is. I think that's your biggest strength right now, because it's just watching. I'd been at the game yesterday. Could have been a couple of minutes in, instantly it goes toxic. And that's a Celtic Park issue, but I know Rangers is pretty much the same. But it goes toxic very quickly, and I think now, because obviously the 2 bad results, it's going to get a lot worse if we don't even look lively. Look like we're going to try to score and maybe get a couple of shots, even if they're off target. I think the Celtic fans might calm down, but I think, see, if we start off the way we started off yesterday, then after it's going to be a toxic atmosphere once again.
No,
I agree, mate. I mean, you look at Robbie and Ryan have both said this is a really good time to play. Celtic, I mean, there's problems on and off the park. There's loads of pressure on Celtic as well. It's kind of like a game. See, to be honest with you, like the underdog when they go into these games, aren't they really under pressure anyway? But it feels like there's even less pressure on St Mirren going into this game, because all the pressure, in my opinion, is on Celtic here.
I know you're probably right. Aye. Just because of how bad we have been, I think, all season, and obviously the non-season start has been absolute pants.
And I've made a point repeatedly in recent weeks. For me, you know, of course, Celtic needed a new manager after Brendan Rodgers left. But if you look at it realistically, I mean, Martin O'Neill's probably worst game outside that first European game, his worst game was probably St Mirren away. But for me, I would have much more fear facing a Martin O'Neill Celtic team than facing however you pronounce this guy's name, Mr. Columbus Crew, I'm going to call him. But for me, I think the Celtic board have got it. I'm not going to write the guy off completely, but I think the Celtic board got it wrong with the timing of the appointment. The biggest week for the football club, and he's ended up, the gap to Hearts has widened. They've been beaten comprehensively in Europe and lose a cup final on Sunday. Your first week in the job, it's not looking good, and the fans are not going to accept that. And it's a lot like, and I do think, I do feel for him, to be honest, because I think he's inheriting a similar situation to what Danny Rose inherited at Rangers. Too many of those players simply aren't Celtic level and are not good enough to be at Celtic. And I think the pressure's off St Mirren and all the pressure's on him already. And in his first week, there could be calls for his head on Sunday if he gets beat.
There's goals for his head already. Sorry, Robbie, but there's goals already for his head on Twitter.
I think that's very harsh, but what I'd be asking is, instead of what Nancy's going to do, because we know he's not going to change the system. Managers believe in their philosophy for a reason. It's the reason why they all get into management. They believe their way can win. I'd be asking how the board spent weeks scouting managers and picked out a manager that plays a back three is the best suited to the job. I really would. I'd be asking, what did you see in him to make you think he can come in with the current squad that Celtic have got, no even in a transfer market, and go, aye, he's the guy that can keep their ship going?
You can't ask the board any questions, though. They might classify as bullying.
You might get your season ticket revoked.
I agree.
Fucking take it, please.
I actually think that Celtic have went down the same road here that Rangers done, and it totally backfired on Rangers, where they came up, they brought Russell Martin in as a sort of project, and give it time and it'll work and all that. Didn't work. They brought this guy in, give it time. It's not it's Celtic and Rangers, guys. You don't get time. You know what I mean? You have to come in. Look at Martin O'Neill came in, and it all the whole time in his whole period there, he was saying it's about winning football matches, and that is all it is. Do you know what I mean? At this point, I mean, me and Corey were talking this morning in work, and what I basically was saying was, Nonce should have come in and just played the same style as Martin O'Neill played. Maybe work on his philosophy and training at times and stuff, right? But I reckon he should have went, you know what? Let's get through the Hearts game. Let's get through the St Mirren game. Let's get through Tannadice next week into the new year, and then I'll implement how I want to play while doing it on the training park as well. Because playing a back three, it's just not working. It's not working. It's three left footers. You know what I mean? It's just, where is it? Well, I'll ask you, Robbie, first. Where is it in the Celtic team that you think you could hurt us the most, though?
If we strangle your midfield at the game, then we take control and win. That's the way I look at it. If we can keep Callum McGregor especially out of this game, like Bacchus done and Paisley, to be fair, the majority of the game, obviously, one sort of flip of the mind for the midfield gave him the goal that won the Celtic the game. But if we can strangle the midfield out of the game at Hampden and really take control, I believe we've got every chance in the world to win, because that's where Celtic can hurt you the most. They can hurt you in the midfield if you don't block them properly. Saying that, anywhere of the pitch, if our two attackers, which I believe Robinson will play two up front, and I think it will be Junge and Mandron again, if they two can keep on top of Celtic's defence, then the mistakes are there to be made. Casper doesn't exactly look great at his distribution, with light on top of him, which can cause him into a few mistakes. It's just, for me, there's problems all over the pitch for Celtic. The wing backs are interesting. We've not even spoke about them yet. Celtic are playing with two natural wing backs. We're going to have two natural wing backs running at Celtic on Sunday. So if we can utilise every single player on that park to our best, then we've got a really, really good chance.
I absolutely, because Celtic have never had, even fullbacks, we've never been really graced with great ones. You might have the odd one like Johnson and Tierney back in the day, but not Tierney anymore. But we've not really ever really had it, because we've got Ralston as the other backup, or Donovan. Somebody I don't really rate, and somebody who's well too young. He needs to go out on a loan, and he's deciding to play Yang in front of them. I think that says a lot about them too, to be perfectly honest.
The question I wanted to ask both Robbie and Ryan, obviously last night, watching the Celtic game, Nonsi at half-time decides to make 3 substitutions, and for me, they didn't make a slightest bit of difference. How do you rate Stephen Robinson in that department, where if things on Sunday are maybe, say it's still 0-0 after an hour, 65, 70 minutes, do you think that he is good enough to make the right decision and bring on the right players and change things a bit?
For me, yeah, absolutely. I think, our 3-3 draw up at Pittodrie a couple of weeks ago, I think is a big sign of that. The changes made the difference, and we come away with a point, much to the sourness of the Aberdeen fans, the poor sheep up there that night. But for me, I've never criticised Robinson for his substitutions. I think he always gets it right. He knows what the game needs. Sometimes they don't have the impact. Obviously, when you're going through a bad run like we have been, sometimes they don't make the impact. But for me, Robinson's a very good man manager. He knows what's needed, and he makes the right changes at the right times. The only time I have ever actually criticised the Stephen Robinson's substitution was our last game against Celtic, when they took off Bacchus and put on Donnelly, and we end up conceding from a Callum McGregor goal, which, I'm not gonna say too much about that goal, because that's still a sore point for me.
I think you're being harsh on that goal. I've seen you talk about that as well, man. The guy scored for 20 or 25 yards out, man. I know you're obviously going to look at it from a St Mirren point of view, but 9 out of 10 players in that Celtic team can't do that.
But for me, the big thing is, we don't make that substitution, the game's over before he even gets that shot away. Extra time's done by the time he gets that shot away. So that was the only substitution I've ever questioned. And I will give him Callum McGregor his credit. It's a brilliant strike, don't get me wrong. But Liam Donnelly's not anticipated it after being on the park for 2 minutes, and he's not even sprinted back to even try get to him. So for me, that's the only substitution I've ever criticised. But for me, Stephen Robinson, if it's 0-0, he will turn to that bench. And for me, I think we've got players on that bench who can come on and hurt Celtic, because we've got pace on the bench, which I think if we can get down the side of Tierney, will be brilliant, because Tierney's legs are made of rubber. We'll stick him out the World Cup. You can even go down the side of Scales. I'd never rated Scales as a defender. And obviously Austin Trusty is the worst American centre-back at Celtic. And everyone wants Carter Vickers back. So, it tells you all you need to know, that Trusty shouldn't really be playing in the final, if we're being brutally honest. Refereeing decisions shouldn't even be in the final. So maybe there's a bit of luck involved.
Fucking tapped him, man.
Maybe there's a bit of luck involved at the point that he's going to be there. But for me, we've got the options on the bench, and Stephen Robinson, 9 times out of 10, picks the right option that changes games for us.
Aye, but I think what Jamie said, Callum McGregor, I think, is the only player in Scotland that can put one top bins like that. But when Celtic need it the most, I don't see any other player in this country that can do that. As consistent as McGregor, by the way. McGregor doesn't seem to just do a one-half per season. He does it all the time. He done it in the semi-final against Rangers, so he's a really influential player. But I think Ryan's right. I've been a bit more critical than Ryan, probably, with Robinson subs. But what do I know? The guy's got 3 consecutive top sixes, a place in Europe and now a place in the cup final. So I'm not one to begrudge what he does, but it is sometimes frustrating when you're maybe looking at, you can freshen things up maybe doesn't he, for 10 minutes, and then he brings people in too late. But I think I trust him enough to make the right decision on Sunday. And I trust the man with the keys to Paisley, to be honest with you. That's how much I trust them. So I when they say I've got any fear about what subs he makes.
You did mention earlier that you're pretty confident of the starting 11 and that, but is there any positions, personnel that you think are still up for grabs at the moment, and who would you pick out of the ones that you mentioned?
I'd play, I don't know, I'm one of the very few St Mirren fans that don't particularly rate Mandron, but well, as high as other people do. I think he does add a lot, but if I was picking a team on Sunday, I'd love to see Dan Lindelof start again. I think that guy has just got the slight edge on pace. I think Mandron has got the... He can be very lazy at times, he can be very stubborn, if a match isn't going his way, he likes to stroll about the pitch sometimes, but I don't really want to see from my players, especially in a final. I want to see everybody running about again at 110%. So I don't know if I think the right hand side striker spot's still up for open, but apart from that, I think the team really writes itself. And there's a lot of interesting players. Fraser Taylor's one that we've not spoke about, such a young guy, but he's honestly got a bravery to take on anybody, and I think he could be a really influential player on Sunday as well.
I'm never going to stop speaking highly of Fraser Taylor. I sponsor his shirt, so I get his shirt at the end of the season, as I get the shirt of Richard King as well. But for me, it's weird. It's a weird one for me. I looked at that team sheet against Dundee United, and there was a few surprises. If I'm being honest, obviously, Bacchus was dropped. We had Jayden Richardson; he was dropped as well. Connor McMenamin minutes. We had a great header, by the way, of probably the smallest player on the park scoring a header like that proves maybe signing every Tom, Dick and Harry from Europe, like Dundee United have done, isn't the best.
Ryan, do you think he'll play Gogic in the midfield again on Sunday?
If I'm being perfectly honest with you, I can see it. I think Richard King has worked his way into the defence and he's earned his place in the cup final, in my opinion. The only thing is, does Bacchus get dropped for a cup final? It's the midfield for me is where I'm thinking, what are we going to do? Because we've got Bacchus, we've got Fraser Taylor, who for me is that midfielder who has the bravery. He will take on the Celtic backline. He won't give two flying monkeys about it. He'll take them on. And I do want Gogic in that midfield because I think Callum McGregor will have a very, very tough day at the office if Gogic is in the middle of that park, because Gogic will be on him like a rash. And maybe that might be a bad thing because we know what Gogic is like. He might stick the nut on him at some point. But for me, I've just seen Scott's comment how James Tavernier the best right back to ever grace Scottish football. That man, if I'll be honest with you, if Scott needs to get a tattoo of the man that he loves him that much. But for me, it's the middle of the park. It's the middle of the park. I don't know what we're going to do with, because we have got so many good players in the middle and players who have came in to the team recently have done well to earn a place at the final. But do we go with, the people who got us to the final, the likes of Richardson, the likes of Mandron? It's an iffy one.
I don't think Bacchus has done enough to deserve a spot in the final, to be honest with you. Since he came back for the World Cup and in his first spell at St. to be honest with you, I don't think he's done near enough to want a place in the team right now. Obviously, I don't know if you've heard Ryan Robinson's press conference. I think Mark O'Hara's going to be a very late call. Whether he goes into the squad, it's going to be a case of on the day. Whether he adapts to the game, whether he can make an impact, I don't expect he'll start by any means, but maybe he'll come on and get some minutes. And I think you're right, a midfield is so stacked full of quality that I'm actually pretty happy with whoever he decides to start.
No, absolutely, mate. But it's, we know what Stephen Robinson's like. He'll say a player's out for 2 weeks and then they're in the starting 11 come 3:30. So, I don't know. But for me, mate, the middle of the park is the one that I don't know who we will go with, because for me, everyone has really earned their place. And, Bacchus, obviously, he got a goal at the weekend, didn't he? So could he have earned his place back? Fraser Taylor's been playing well.
It was a tap-in.
Mate,
I know they all count, but it was a tap-in. That goal doesn't earn him a spot in the final.
I get your point, mate, but if you're getting a goal, obviously confidence is going to be a bit higher. And obviously Fraser Taylor has got himself booked in the last 2 games just for existence, to be perfectly honest. I'm not going to go for the SFA too much. But we all know VAR is probably going to play a part with Matthew McDermott on it on Sunday. But for me, it's the middle of the park. I just don't know what we're going to like. We've got that many good players in the middle of the park. I don't know who starts.
Just when you were talking there about Gogic and stuff like that, it's made me think. Obviously, like I said earlier, there is not as much pressure on St Mirren, but obviously it is a cup final. They'll be fired up. How do you think St Mirren will handle the occasion, and also how do you think what discipline will go? Because obviously, like I say, these guys will be fired up when they get into every tackle. A guy like Gogic could just step in a wee bit too much, get a wee bit too fucking fired up, and then get yourself sent off, and it's a whole new game. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get your point completely. Gogic either gets himself sent off in the first 5 minutes of the game, or he behaves himself well. Discipline for me, I think, Stephen Robinson's been around the block. He's been to 2 cup finals, incidentally, both against Celtic. That year, it was Motherwell Celtic in both finals, which, it begs belief that happened. But for me, I don't think discipline will be an issue. The players will be up for it, but they will also know any silly mistakes, despite Celtic's, I don't want to say lack of quality, but they have got a bit of a lack of performance levels at the moment. A lack of quality.
They've got a lack of quality.
They're shite.
It's
Okay?
alright.
They're a bit shite, right? But for me, discipline won't be an issue because players will know one tiny mistake could end the best chance of St Mirren Football Club winning a trophy and bringing joy to thousands of Paisley. And I tell you what, the last post is going to be absolutely packed come 7 o'clock on Sunday night because St Mirren are winning this final, and I will put my neck on the line and say that.
The last post, man, fuck's sake, that brings back some memories. What a boozer that is, man. Jeez, well, you're not going there after the game, are you?
Oh, absolutely, mate. That's the go-to. It's fine next to the train station.
Gabriel's, mate. That's where you want to go in Paisley. That's a good pub.
Is that still open?
Aye.
Oh, I might need to take a trip in, see if they remember you, Jamie.
That was many moons ago, mate. I had a full head of hair when I last was in there.
Have I been in Paisley? I'm like, it's close to the airport. I think that's probably the closest I've been.
You've got your own shithole, mate. You're from Coatbridge. You don't need another one. It's all right.
God's country, mate. It's God's country. Don't say that again.
It tells you a lot that Stephen Robinson's came out and openly said that players don't want to wear a suit or stay at a hotel the night before the game, which incidentally the Motherwell squad done that both cup finals before playing Celtic. I think it shows a lot of character to the squad that they don't want to treat this like a final. They want to treat it like a football game, which it is ultimately. So I'm not worried at all. I know Robinson's opted to wear a suit, which will be a good look on Sunday. I never thought I'd be a St Mirren manager in a suit again, but aye, that'll definitely be an interesting aspect. But I don't know about you, Ryan. I'm so pleased that the players have chosen not to take that approach. Getting the hotel, getting the suits on, treating it like a final. I'm so happy that they're downplaying this to the point where they just treat it like a normal match on a weekend.
No, absolutely, mate. They're literally, fair enough, it's a cup final, but we're treating it like it's any other game. And I think that's the right approach. Sometimes, teams who haven't made it to cup finals as often, and we don't make, let's be perfectly frank, St Mirren don't make finals very, very often. Semi-finals as well, we don't make very often. So, I think just treat it like any other game. It's no bigger than any other game. The pressure's completely off. The pressure's all on Celtic. Treat it like any other game. Go about your business professionally. And I'll be honest with you, I think St Mirren are the team who have given Celtic their toughest games this season, out with obviously Hearts. So the confidence is going to be in that dressing room, and as long as we don't have a deflected goal or Callum McGregor slamming on him from 25 yards out, even though I will be perfectly honest and I will stand on this, even though Corey thought it'd be a wee wind-up merchant that night, that goal should have stood. And we should have went 1-0 up in Paisley. The goal should have stood.
Rules are the rules, brother. Rules are the rules.
Liam is putting that in the back of the net regardless of whether McMenamin's there. So I'm loving the approach from St Mirren at treating it like any other game. 13,000 bodies backing us. We are up for this. And I honestly foresee St Mirren winning this cup.
Just want to let everybody know in the chat, I will get to some questions. If you get any questions, put them in. We'll get to them in about 5-10 minutes. Just a couple more questions that we're going to talk about. Corey, on that subject of discipline, right? Obviously, things are going really bad at the moment for Celtic and that. I personally am a bit worried about discipline on Sunday, to be honest. I think that there could be some players out to prove a point, angered by what's been happening in the last week or so. What do you think of that?
I think the only person I'd be worried about is Daisen Maeda. Because I think last night he looked a wee bit too fiery. The Hearts game, he kicked out a couple of times. I don't know if he's just fed up and he just wants to go, or he's just, I don't know, that he's not in the right headspace or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I would say he's the only one that I'd be worried about with discipline. But no, they've been, most of that team's been there and done it. They've been at Hampden, they've won trophies, so they know the type of game it's going to be. Like they've played against St Mirren numerous times. Like Ryan says, they've been the hardest games. I think you're right that they'll try to prove a point, but they'll try to prove a point in the right way. Hopefully.
Aye, maybe. But I here's my prediction: somebody's getting sent off on Sunday. Somebody, I don't know who it is. There's going to be a red card on Sunday, or maybe even a couple. But I think there's going to be quite a fiery affair. To be honest with you, I really do.
I'll be honest with you, Jamie. I agree. It's the first time, and it's the first and probably the last time I'll ever say this in my life. I agree with wee Jack Frost over there. I think Maeda could be a problem for you on Sunday. I think, things aren't going well at Celtic at the moment. Things haven't went well for Maeda personally this season. He is a big worry. He got away with his 2 kick-outs at the weekend, didn't even get booked, and he made about 6 fouls. Obviously, 2026, we're seeing Jamie versus you and Cameron on a Misfits undercard. But
that would be a no contest, mate. He'd get knocked out in about 2 seconds.
But for me, Maeda's a big problem for Celtic because it's looking increasingly like he's lost his head, and he is losing his head week after week. And it's not just a Hearts game. I think in weeks gone by, he is making a lot of fouls, and he is getting away with them. But in a cup final, tensions are high. There's a lot of fans in that stadium. Referees could be swayed. Yeah. And Maeda, if he does something on Sunday, he will be off that park. And I can foresee Maeda getting sent off on Sunday.
If it was a Celtic player, I would say Maeda. If I would say a St Mirren player, I would say Gogic.
Well, absolutely, mate.
That's a good point there about, the referees and stuff. I mean, this referee might actually try and make it about yourself. It's Nick Walsh, isn't it?
Kevin Clancy.
Oh, fuck's sake, man. That's even worse.
Have you heard who's on VAR? Have you heard who's on VAR duty?
No, beaten, probably.
We've got Matthew McDermott.
Matthew McDermott.
I think he's the one that as well.
I gave us a penalty for the handball and they scalped the boy's face.
It's the only issue I'm worried about, whether the referees decide to make it about themselves.
Is there any actual referee that's decent to Scotland, to be honest? Let's be fair.
I'll be honest with you. I think I think ever since Bobby Madden left, I think the standard of refereeings went down.
He was a dick and all.
He was a dick, but I actually genuinely think he was the best referee we had.
I can't remember ever having a good referee. Apart from once, and there wasn't even a Scottish referee. Scottish referees went on strike, and we had. I swear to God, and I remember it was a Old Firm game, and it was like a Greek referee. That was the best referee I've seen.
Now we've got wee Willie sending out letters with his post office stamps to clubs every single week because the refereeing standard in Scottish football this year's absolutely plummeted.
Thing is, though, you watch every game. You watch UK games down in England and all that. They're all complaining about the referees. They're all complaining about VAR. A lot of the problem is, especially the handball rule. The handball rule is just fucking up in the air. Nobody knows what's happening there. Nobody knows anymore what's a handball, what's no. It's, it's the rules, and they need to just get better. Listen, I'm a big fan of VAR. I like the idea of VAR. I think it really helps smaller teams. For instance, St Mirren going to a Parkhead or an Ibrox. The referee gets a chance to look at an incident, St Mirren get a penalty or whatever. It's
you've not seen our record with VAR, Jamie.
Well, so many times over the years, man, Celtic got fucked in Europe. You know what I mean? And I don't mean half other teams like we do these days. It was actually by the referees at times. I always remember Amoruso, who was a Juventus striker, when Martin O'Neill's first spell, we went over there, fucking last minute, just dived, got a penalty. If that's VAR these days, well, saying that, fucking Engels last night, who's seen that?
I thought it was a penalty, but that's just where I was standing.
You were?
I thought it was a penalty, but that's just because where I was.
Go and watch that again, mate. The softest penalty you'll ever see in your whole life. But aye, so VAR, let's hope it's not a big fucking deal on Sunday and it's just whoever is the better team on the day, you know what I mean?
Are you due your 2 years? Are you due your 2 year check at Specsavers thinking that's a penalty?
No, it's just where I was. It's just where I was. It's where the tackle was. It's the back of it, so it looked like one. I haven't seen it.
You're the other end, aren't you?
I am the other end of the stadium. I'm like, see where you sit at Celtic Park, I'm like the opposite corner.
All you need to say, mate, is you're just above the Green Brigade. That's where you're.
And but some people just when you plant the Green Brigade.
Jesus Christ, he's getting
You're literally right next to the Green Brigade.
His season ticket's getting revoked.
See the VAR discussion we're talking about. I feel that referees just depend on it too much. They don't use their own brain. They don't use the fact that they know the game, then they know how it's played. They just don't want to make a mistake. Like, I'll just wait till it goes to VAR. I'll wait till it goes to VAR and let them decide it.
Gary says most of the refs are not good enough for schoolboy football. I mean, we agree. I mean, but the thing is, it's like I say, it's across the board. Sometimes I'll sit and watch Serie A games and stuff like that. Oh, excuse me. I'll sit and watch Serie A games and that, and they're all complaining about the referees and they'll make some crazy decisions. So
that's because there's a lot of match fixing in the Serie A, though.
Allegedly, that is not the thoughts of the podcast. That is the thoughts of Corey.
Fucking right. As the thoughts of me, I fucking is.
Davey Barriman, who is also part of this podcast, mate. Your fucking comments are unreadable, mate. Like, what are you all about, man? Are you mad?
He comes to
government. Actual mad with it, man. It's just like a fucking wee old man rambling shite there, isn't it?
It's because he's wee stub. It's just kind of text properly like that.
Dave, if you put a sensible comment that doesn't involve sectarianism, fucking racism, homophobia, I'll maybe put it up.
Have you seen his photo on YouTube? That's sectarian enough.
No, I've not even seen it, man.
Check it.
Heidi's in the comments. How you doing, Heidi? John Adams, Legends Life Story. John, you're a hero, mate. How's it going, bro? Scott.
He's up at the crack of dawn. Fucking watching this.
Scott Bradley. What's that?
He's up at the crack of dawn watching this. John.
John's always up early, man.
He's half his name.
Craig McAdam, the two St Mirren centre forwards. Two St Mirren centre forwards will bully the Celtic defence. Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, Craig. That's what I believe as well, mate. I think they're a massive danger to that defence.
On people who've commented, Jamie, I think, it's Heidi's obviously commented. A big shout out to Heidi, by the way. I've just muted myself there, God. But dickhead. But for me, Heidi's doing so much amazing work. We need more people in the Scottish football scene. Heidi's doing amazing work. I do feel sorry for her. She supports Celtic and Arsenal, the poor girl. But she's doing amazing work, absolutely amazing work, and we need more people like Heidi in the Scottish football scene because it's only going to grow. And it's only going to get better and better. Obviously, you boys have done absolute madness in the last year. Hats off to you. Robbie's done absolutely amazing stuff. There's so many other people we could shout out. Scott Bradley's, he's obviously running a James Tavernier fan page. I do love Big Scott. Scott's amazing again, But I just thought a wee shout out to Heidi there because, she's at 18 years old to have, the courage to sort of put yourself out there like that. Not many people would, and she's doing it consistently, and she's making some top class content.
Me and Jamie say that about you too, just because of how young you are, and obviously we're a wee bit older than you. We always think if we had the bottle that you two had at your age, we would have done it. But
I wouldn't have had the bottle. I'm sure I said this on Robbie's. I'm sure I said this on Robbie's podcast when I was his age, man. I would never have done it. I mean, it's only until you get older you just don't give a fuck. But obviously, this generation are getting better and they're getting fucking wider. You know what I mean? Yeah. Quite right, man. Quite right. You know what I mean? And that's what you're right about Heidi, by the way. You know what I mean? Young lassie as well, putting herself out there on TikTok and that, talking about football. Because let's be honest, boys. I mean, most guys we're into football and that, for a lassie to put herself out there to talk about football as well, there's going to be, you know what it's like. There is going to be some guys watching that lassie put her TikToks and going, "What the fuck does she know? She's a woman." There is going to be, you know what I mean. But fair play to her, man. You know, I totally agree with you, Ryan. You know what I mean? It's like it takes balls to put there, and also a big shout out to Mr. Corey Flood up there, who decided to this week put himself out there on TikTok and put his big Jack Frost face.
I
can't even get that.
Say again. Put
his big Jack Frost face all over TikTok. It was very good there, man. So well done.
I'll be honest with you though, Jamie. I have a new iPhone 17 Pro Max because I'm fancy like that. And Corey's face came up on my TikTok feed, and for fuck's sake, my phone's now smashed in pieces.
Talking about.
It's
you thought it was that. You thought it was that. You actually thought it was that move, Jack Frost, where he actually came alive.
I thought Jack Frost was popping up.
Snowman into a fucking person.
You know what? TikTok career was fucking class when it lasted, that one video.
but you know, I know I come on, I take the mick out of Corey a lot, and you know, I've got to hand it to Corey. He's a good sport. He takes it in the banter it's intended. He's not one of these people who's sitting pure going a huff about it. And you know, to put himself out there for the first time is massive. Obviously, he does this podcast every week, and he does say some quite controversial things that I laugh at. But on yourself, Corey, lad, TikTok's the place to go. You're going to make it famous.
It's mad because I know I can just batter everything. So I don't have any fear with that. Can't know, man. I'm
How many black eyes have you had since I've known you? How many Monday mornings have you walked in with a black eye?
One.
And that was just because you tell your missus that you weren't cleaning the stairs or something.
No, it was actual. I tried to split up a fight, trying to be a good cunt, and I got hot in the specs, and I was.
Nah, you've had more black eyes.
I was like fucking Velma out of fucking Scooby Doo. I'm like, my glass. Oh, in fact, I got a slap. For the Christmas night. I remember that.
Do you know, ironically, this is the only comment that I can actually put up at Davies.
But look, he's 40.
That is pretty ironic, isn't it? It's the only thing I can actually do.
The photo, man.
That's I mean.
He's a better man. He's a better man. Aaron, how you doing, mate? Aaron, also that reminds me, since Aaron's in, Aaron is one of your previous competition winners. So, guys, if you have not seen it, we've got a competition going. £60 Amazon voucher.
You looking at David's comments?
No. Aye. So, £60 Amazon voucher. All you need to do is go to our TikTok or Twitter and all that, see the post, tag somebody, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Draw is tomorrow at 2 p.m. after I go to my work, unfortunately.
And I've already been told I'm winning it, guys, so there's no point in then. No, I'm joking, guys. Make sure you enter it, man. You know, these guys are doing a good thing, giving back to the people who support them. So go make sure you enter the competition, because you could be the lucky one getting 60 quid to spend on people for Christmas, or you could buy yourself something for Christmas.
Definitely. I'm not going to lie. I would like it to be somebody who actually watches the podcast, because there's been lots of comments for people on TikTok and Twitter and that who are just doing it because it's a fucking giveaway, do you know what I mean? But
100% one of them said something about a DM, like, or wouldn't let me accept your DM or something. I'm like, wow.
No. But it's got to be something until, let's be honest. But in end of the day, as Ryan says, we're giving back to people, you know what I mean, who are going to subscribe and all that stuff. So, right, before we finish up, Robbie, score prediction, mate. And who's the goal scorers?
I think it'll be 2 each after extra time. I think Phillips and Mandron will score for St Mirren. I think Johnny Kenny will get a double for Celtic. And then I think on penalties, I don't know what the score will be, but I'm going to back Shamal George, a goalkeeper, to score the winning penalty to win us a cup.
Fucking hell.
You're at it, boy.
You had a dream about that, didn't you? That's a dream, man.
I'll be honest with you, Robbie, mate. If that happens, I'm getting closer and closer to the fucking loony bin.
I'm shocked that he thought Celtic were going to score 2 goals. Then Tenetti's going to score the 2 goals. No,
Johnny Kenny.
No, Johnny Kenny. No,
I thought you said Tenetti.
No, I said Johnny Kenny.
Right, even Johnny Kenny, you're still at it. You're at it, boy.
Scored the last time Celtic went handed.
Well, I don't know, but that was a shambles.
Right, Ryan, what about you, mate?
For me, It's going to be 2-1 to St Mirren. I believe Celtic's goal scorer will be Kieran Tierney. I think he's going to get a goal. He likes a goal at Hampden, and he does like a wee curling finish. And the goal scorers for St Mirren are going to be, I think the big occasion, Killian Phillips is going to step up. And I also think my man, Alexandros Gogic, is going to score the winner with a diving header from a corner right in front of 13,000 St Mirren fans. And he's going to get booked because he's going to take his top off and shout Idemo at the top of his lungs.
So
Did
you.
you say it's got to be a header?
It's going to be a header from a corner.
Do you know what you need to do then? See if that does happen. You need to get a goal and a ball tattooed on the top of that.
Aye, the 40.
Aye.
Well, boys, I've already made a wee deal with Robbie on Buddy's bench. I said to him, and bearing in mind, this was when I thought we were getting knocked out the cup by Kilmarnock because we've struggled to get past Arbroath in the group stages. I said to Robbie, we win this cup, Stephen Robinson is going on the other leg.
Oh, well.
Would he be your best manager possibly ever if he gets this?
He already is, in my opinion. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses at the weekend. For me, he's the best manager to manage the Mumble at the club, and I don't think there's any close second, to be honest.
I'll agree with Robbie there. You know, obviously Danny Lennon won the cup in 2013, beating Hearts. Get it up here, you and Cameron. But for me, the consistency of 3 top 6 finishes, you know, a place in a cup final. We aren't going to the Scottish Cup final because we're getting papped out by Livy in the first round away. But honestly, I think he is the best manager of our generation. And I'll be honest with you, I'm slightly scared if we do win this cup, will that be the end of Stephen Robinson at St Mirren? Because he will have achieved everything really at that point, because we're not winning the league. We've got into Europe. We'd have won a cup. He's done everything he can at that point.
Definitely. Corey, what's your prediction, mate?
1-0 Celtic, if I'm being brutally honest. And I think it'll be...
Who's the goal scorer?
Tinitke. No, kidding on. I think it'll be... Cal McGregor, maybe. I think it may be a repeat of the game at Paisley.
I can't
Don't
do
date
that
to me,
again.
mate. Don't date to me. Don't
I
date to me.
I think he might. Because like you said, that I didn't think it before. I thought maybe it would go extra time, maybe 0-0, and hopefully Celtic might sneak it. But like you said, that he is probably the only player in Scotland that could probably produce that bit of magic. And he's done it before at Hampden, like Robbie said. So, aye, why not?
Listen, I won't be shocked if Celtic win. What I will be shocked with is if we don't concede. To say 1-0, I think to go, you know, the amount of chances Roma created the other night, the amount of chances Hearts created in the second half, to say that St Mirren won't get a goal Sunday, I'm
only saying that because I know obviously they do all right, but I don't necessarily fear St Mirren's attacking options at all.
I'll put it to you this way, Corey. We scored more goals against Hearts this season than Celtic have.
Aye, but on the flip side though, Ryan, you show any fan at the last 2 games we've played against Celtic, you show them only the game, you don't tell them the scoreline. They would have written that we've scored at least 2 goals in the last 2 games. So I mean, you know, it's a double-edged sword. We just don't know.
He's played really well against Celtic, either at home, Celtic Park, or at Paisley. But it always seems like he's always good up until the final third. Even if their defence is rotten, which I really feel it is. And it's got to bite me in the arse now, innit? But I feel like just the final third against Celtic, even Rangers, I know that you've had a good couple of results against Rangers, but I feel like the final third against the bigger teams, you kind of go missing. Basically, when it's like a game like Livingston or maybe Dundee or something, that's when they thrive and that's when they play well, or even Motherwell. But
let's not mention Dundee.
No, Corey, I'd say that's probably been our biggest problem as a late Ryan. I don't know if you'd agree, but the amount of times we can. I mean, last season in the top six we went unbeaten in all 5 games we played against top 6 teams. The problem's been we struggle in the final third, I think, against everybody in the league. I wasn't expecting us to put 4 past Motherwell at Hampden, and we somehow came away scoring 4 in that game. So we will. There's no doubt we'll create chances against Celtic. We'll get chances. I believe that is whether we can take them or not. If we take them, there's no reason why we can't come away with the cup.
Oh, absolutely, mate.
You going on Sunday, Robbie?
I'm going on Sunday.
Got a ticket.
Sometimes against Celtic, it feels like you couldn't score in a brothel. The amount of good chances we've.
Aye, that's what I mean. Like, you do it brilliantly, but I just feel like it's just got that cutting edges a bit missing.
Surely statistically, it's going to turn at one point. We've got to do one in Celtic eventually.
I don't know with averages.
You're going to pump us 3-0 now after I said that, but here we are.
Well, I'm not going to leave my prediction. I think it's going to be 2-1 to Celtic. I think it's going to be a tight first. I think it could be like a last-minute winner, last minute to winner, to be honest. I think it could be an edgy game with like 10-15 minutes to go, one each. I think
having a mini panic attack there, like, don't say that to me, man.
Jamie's breaking my heart here, man.
Sorry, mate.
He would rather you say 5-0 Celtic, but fair enough. Fair enough, you bet. I had a good day at Hampden. End of.
I think it'll be a very tight game. I really do. I'm just going to say Celtic just edge it with that wee bit of quality at the end. But it could easily go either way, man. It could be a 2-1 St Mirren, be a last minute winner, which I know would make you two boys very happy, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, before we go, guys, is there anything else you want to promote? I know obviously you've got Buddy's Bench and your other pod pitching pattern or anything coming up.
I know Ryan's got some big stuff coming up. I'm not doing much for now, to be honest with you. You can obviously listen to us on Buddy's Bench. A new episode came out today, obviously previewing the big cup final at the weekend. I'm doing TikToks as well. Robbie Rants, I've got a special video coming out on Sunday. That should be dropping right on midnight as the cup final day arises. So that should be fun. But I'm excited to see what Ryan's doing, to be honest with you. I know you've got some big stuff coming up, man.
Aye, mate, there's some big things coming up. I've got a 24-hour TikTok live on next Friday night. Pitch and patter. Corey kind of got us cancelled a bit, to be honest with you. It's went downhill since he came on.
Don't blame me, man. The shit you were coming out was atrocious.
We'll Pitch and patter will be back in January. We are lining up some big guests. We're lining up a new co-host, which should hopefully get announced in the next 2 weeks. I've been speaking to a few people. So Pitch and patter will be returning in January. And other than that, I do TikTok lives every night, usually 6 to 8 p.m. 24-hour live next week. Come show some support. Come wind me up if you want. I like when the trolls come in my comment section. I like having a wee bit of back and forth for them, and just keep on supporting the boys at Off the Underside, man. There's the amount of good work these guys are doing. It's absolutely unbelievable to go from just starting a podcast to interviewing the likes of the people they've interviewed. It's absolutely unbelievable. Keep on showing these guys the love. If you've not hit the subscribe button, you're a walloper. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you just go show these guys the love. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, every single social media platform. Go show these boys the love because they put a lot of time and effort into it. And these two, honestly, I would not be surprised in the next 2-3 years if they can quit their jobs and take this on full time, because the only way's up for these two, man. Absolutely unbelievable fellas, unbelievable podcasters, and as much as I hate to say it, Jack Frost is actually all right sometimes.
Aye, sometimes.
Okay, mate. Thanks very much for the kind.
Thank you very much.
Really is appreciated, mate. We echo that. You know what I mean? Two amazing podcasters in front of us, as we always talk about. Robbie and Ryan, honestly, go and listen to Buddy's Bench. I was actually listening to it the other day. Did you mention there that you're doing you're going to, I don't know if it's actually finalised, but you said it on there, so I'm assuming I'm allowed to say it, that you're thinking about going to different football stadiums?
Aye, mate. There's a wee challenge coming up next year. I need to start training in January for it. I will be very foolishly, and I don't know why the fuck I said I would do it, but it's for charity, so it's for a good cause. I will be running to all 42 football stadiums in Scotland. I've not worked out how many kilometres that is yet. I don't really want to because I'll probably cry myself to sleep at night. But there's some big charity challenges I'm taking on next year. More details will be coming out as soon as I can get all the details sorted out. But I'm doing a lot of charity work next year, giving back to the people, giving back to, the communities, and absolutely tanking my body in the process. But all be worth it when we get a wee kebab pie and a pint at the end.
Fair play to you, mate. Fair play to you. I don't know. Fuck that. I couldn't do it. I'll just give money. I'll give money, but fuck doing all that. Man, you can't have that.
Obviously, go and watch other stuff, right? But I want to put a special mention to Robbie's interview with St Mirren chairman. That was amazing. Is that on Buddy's Bench? That?
No, it's on my own personal channel.
That was on your own YouTube. What was your YouTube called again?
It's called Robbie Rants.
Robbie Rants.
I've been a bit lazy on that channel, to be honest.
But that interview, mate, was absolute. The fact he even got that interview was amazing. But the depth he went into with a chairman of a current football team in Scotland was just incredible, man. I would fully recommend everybody to go and give that a watch.
I state of this, boys, does a Sitman podcast, and he fucking does it on his own, doesn't he? And even invite me on. I see how it is.
That was a very good chat. John's such a lovely guy, and I think because he's a big Sitman fan as well. He's been following the club since like 1965, I think. So he's been following the club a long time, and obviously he's a very open and honest chairman. So that was a lot of fun. But can I just say a quick story? I don't want to keep it dragging on too long, but I found this actually really emotional. The other day, I seen that John Attenborough, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a disability and football accessibility advocate. Really big name, and he's a big Dundee United fan. He's blind, so he unfortunately couldn't see. Last week, he got to see a football match for the very first time with his own eyes through a machine that he get given. I think the company's called Give Vision, that allowed him to watch his team Dundee United in action. This weekend, he's going to get to see Dundee United at Tannadice for the very first time with his own eyes. And to me, guys, that's just so moving because, everybody should have a right to go and see football with their own eyes, go and watch a game. John spent years going with his guide dog that sadly passed away early in the year's time. And now he gets to go and actually go and watch his team, which is, to me, was just such a moving story and something that I love John's work. The Scottish football overall is just such a moving guy. So I just thought I'd fling that in there.
Well said, mate. That's brilliant. That's a brilliant story, man. I'll give it 2 weeks and, they already have better fucking,
better vision than us.
No, you. I was going to say you. I was going to say better analysis than you.
Before we end, boys, whilst we're all here, actually, I've got a wee proposal for you, right? I'm thinking, right, why don't we I've spoke to Robbie about this, right? One weekend when it's the international break, obviously we've got that next year, we've got that whole 2 week one, so there's no Scottish Premiership football. So I'm thinking, why don't we do a wee soccer Saturday thing? So we go to a pub in Glasgow together, wherever the first goal gets scored in Scotland, that's where we go for a night out.
I've seen that. The Delight Soccer Saturday thing. I'd be up for that. What about you, Jamie?
I've not seen that, but I'm well up for it.
It's the first goal, wherever the team is, you go there and have a night out.
Definitely.
Seen loads of people do it in England.
I really fucking hope St Mirren don't score first that day, man.
Here we go.
Just before we go, just want to say a couple of things that we're up to as well. We've got some big plans going forward as well, you know what I mean? We're going to do a team of the season so far soon in the next week or so. We're going to do, obviously, with Stuart Hay, the comedian and actor, big Rangers fan. We're talking to him during the week, and then we've got some other guests lined up as well into the new year and that as well. So, big thanks for all of us to come. Robbie, Ryan, thanks very much for coming on. I'm not going to lie to you, I hope your team gets pumped on Sunday, but I'm sure you're feeling exactly the same. All the best, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Remember, subscribe to all our channels. All the best. Cheerio.
Catches.